Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you part two of my Week 11 NFL picks and predictions. In this video, I've got two games on tap for you to go along with the three I did yesterday. So there's going to be 5 NFL games that I'm doing this NFL weekend. So we're going to kick this video off with the game of the week, the Chiefs at the Bills. Bills open as a 2-point favorite. Now, I looked at this spread last night, and this was at 2. This morning, this has gone up to 2.5. I'm buying a half point on this and doing it at 2. I recommend you do the same. Just don't want to get beat on half points, right? So when we're looking at this game, first thing you want to really look at is the defenses for both teams. The Kansas City Chiefs defensively allow 83 yards rushing per game, which is third in the league. Kansas City has had carryover with Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator's defense from last postseason. It's carried over to this regular season where the Chiefs are dominant against the ground attack at third in the league. They have a very strong pass defense as well. On the flip side, Buffalo, they have a very strong pass defense this season, but run defense is a bit, you got to double click into them to see, bro, the Bills' rush defense isn't really that strong. They allow 123 yards rushing per game, which is 15th in the league. So you could say they're middle of the pack, but the reality is they allow 4.9 yards per carry. Teams are trailing Buffalo, which is taking the run game out of it for their opponents, and that's why their rush defense stats don't look as bad as they probably should look or as they could look if the games were more competitive. So now when you look at so when you say all that about the defense of this team, let's look at the offenses. Well, Josh Allen against that pass defense, Josh Allen's going to against that Kansas City pass defense. Josh Allen's missing Dalton Kincaid, his starting tight end. He's missing the rookie Keon Coleman, and he could be missing Amari Cooper, though Amari Cooper has stated that he is going to play in this game as of 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. It still hasn't been announced that Amari Cooper is playing in this game, but I'm going into this assuming that he's going to have him. So Josh Allen is going to have his best weapon in this game. That said, against a tough Kansas City pass defense, I don't know how effective the Buffalo passing game is going to be today. On the flip side, you look at Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes' passing game against the Buffalo secondary. You've got Patrick Mahomes supposed to get back Juju Smith-Schuster, so he's going to have DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster as his two primary wide receiver options. These are two wide receivers at their end of their career, though. And obviously, he has Travis Kelce and the rookie Xavier Worthy. So Patrick Mahomes does have more weapons in this game, but the Chiefs' passing game hasn't been able to get untracked this season. I think that you're going to see Kansas City's passing game have moments of success, but also had struggled to move the ball against a very tough Bills secondary. So I think you're going to see both passing offenses for both teams kind of struggle to move the ball for a majority of the game. Now, where we're talking about on the ground, you look at James Cook and the Buffalo Bills running attack. It's a solid running attack, but going against the third-ranked rush defense in the league, James Cook and that Bills rush offense isn't really like that. They might hit a couple runs here and there. Josh Allen, maybe a big scrambler or so, but for the most part, I think Kansas City's run defense is going to control the line of scrimmage. And then when you're looking at on the Bills side, as I said, Bills rush defense isn't very strong. But now, do you think Kareem Hunt is the kind of running back to be able to take advantage of that? I don't think the Kareem Hunt revival is real. If you believe that out there, then this could be an opportunity for you. But I just don't believe in Kareem Hunt. I think he's practically washed. And Kansas City doesn't really have any other options, so they're forced to play him. So I see both defenses dominating this game. So then when both defenses are dominating the game, what's going to be the real difference in this game? For me, it's turnovers. Buffalo is number one in the league in turnover differential at plus 13. Kansas City 22nd at -4. Patrick Mahomes got 9 picks this year. He's been struggling throwing the football and struggling with turnovers. And then finally, let's talk history of this game. Buffalo and Kansas City have faced off in some big games over the past couple years. They faced off in the playoffs last year, and it seems like when they face off in the playoffs, the Chiefs win. Last year, Kansas City with a big win against Buffalo on their Super Bowl run. In the regular season, though, last season, Buffalo was kind of struggling late in the year. I think they were like 6-5 or 6-6, something like that, and they were playing Kansas City on the road in a game, in a must-have-it game. Buffalo went into KC and were able to win that game by 3. The year prior, or I should say the postseason prior, We all know what happened. Kansas City, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes had a shootout. Patrick Mahomes had the ball last. He was able to win the game. In that following regular season, though, Buffalo winning the Kansas City was able to beat Kansas City again, I believe, by 3. So the moral of that story is it seems like the Bills win the regular season matchups. Josh Allen wins the regular season matchups against Mahomes, but Mahomes wins the games that matter. So because of that, going with that history, going with the turnover differential in a game that I think is going to be dominated by defense, give me the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to lay the 2. Next up, second game I'm going to do this video is the Houston Texans 7-point favorite at the Dallas Cowboys. This is Monday Night Football, so prime time at AT&T Stadium. And when you're looking at this game, it's pretty easy to see the issues with the Cowboys. Defensively, they're awful. They allow 152 yards rushing per game. That's 30th in the league. They allow 8.4 yards per pass attempt. That's dead last in the league. So now you're going against a Houston Texans offense that has Joe Mixon, who's missed some time this year, but he's healthy now, averaging 93 yards rushing per game. That's not a good matchup for the Cowboys defense. And then you have in the passing game for Houston, you got Nico Collins back. Nico Collins got hurt in week 5, I believe. Through 5 weeks of the season, Nico Collins was leading the NFL in receiving. So now you got Nico back, you got Tank Dell, CJ Stroud has got his weapons back. We know Stephon Diggs is out for the year, but still, this is the original Houston Texans passing attack right from last season. That doesn't bode well for a Cowboys secondary. Now I know Cowboys defensive issues have to do with injuries, and they got some of those guys back, like Micah Parsons, for example. But I don't believe that's going to mask all of their issues, right? So when you're talking about that, I think Houston, just like Philly last week, Philly rolled up 38 points in Dallas. Houston can do the same thing. They have that offensive firepower to be able to do the same thing. Can the Cowboys keep pace? Now you're looking at the Cowboys offense. It's Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush looked like Al Bundy to me, man. He looked washed. He didn't look like the same Cooper Rush who came in a few years ago and went 4-1 off the bench. Cooper, Cooper Rush Cooper Rush looks like he's about ready to hang it up. That's what he looked like to me. You could say, okay, another week with the starters, another week practicing, he could look a little better. That doesn't matter. This Houston Texans defense is good enough to shut down Dallas. And then the final factor in this game is just takeaways. Houston is 4th in the league, 18 takeaways. The Cowboys are 31st in the league, second to last, and 18 giveaways. They give up the rock. So bad defense, give up the ball, backup quarterback, 7 points. And this went down, by the way. This opened at 7.5. Money going in on Dallas. I don't see why. Eventually the Cowboys are going to win a game, but it ain't going to be this week. Give me the Houston Texans laying the 7 on Monday Night Football. So anyway, that wraps this video up. So I've got 5 games to tap for you. We got the Houston laying 7, got the Bills laying the 2, and then yesterday we got the Packers. We laying the 5.5. By the way, that spread has gone to 6, so hopefully you jumped on it already. Minnesota, we're laying the 6, and the Colts taking the +4s. I think that's going to be a really tight game in New York against the Jets. So anyway, if you like the content, please like, follow, and subscribe, all of that, as you're going to see, or like, comment, and subscribe, all of that, as you're going to see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.